topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
You're listening to the ASQ podcast for a transformational approach to life and leadership, blending soul wisdom with modern insight to create outer impact.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another live episode of the ASQ podcast. My name is Omar.
And I am Jessie.
All right, and we are here to talk about life, leadership, culture, and the impact of all those things combined. So today we have an amazing guest, someone that I've known for about a year now, locally where we live. And I'm so impressed with leadership in the approach that we advocate, but also seeing it in practice in local business, not just nonprofits. So tell us about the person that we're interviewing today.
All right. I get to do the intros. I love this. Mm-hmm. Okay. So our guest today is Paul Bobo. He is the managing partner at Garber Buick GMC here locally. And his story is a true testament to growth, grit, and leadership. He started his career as an automotive technician, worked his way through almost every position in the dealership, and over the last 30 years has become a respected leader within the Garber organization. Paul is someone who leads with consistency, mentorship, and a deep commitment to both his team and family. He's built a culture grounded in service, and he's even created a family tradition with all of them working in the dealership alongside him. Mm-hmm. We're excited to have him with us today. Paul, welcome to the show.
All right. Uh-oh.
Okay. He's coming. No? Yes? All right. Well, he's coming on anyway. So you've known him for a year, you said?
Yeah. Actually, Paul, can you hear him? Can you hear us? It's okay. We'll log in and log back in. Maybe that will help. So yeah, no, I mean, one of the things about Paul that I like is that we are part of a group. And there he is. There he is.
Yay. He made it.
And let's see.
There he goes. All right. I love the live show.
Yeah, the live shows are the best.
Yes.
I can't hear you for some reason.
Uh-oh. Let's see. How about now? Can you hear us now? Yeah. Try to see in the volume, in your volume up.
It's on. Okay. Yeah.
Testing. How about now? Can you hear us now? No. Let's see. It's on his end. Okay. Refresh the page, Paul. And that probably should help. That's one of the things that our producer back is going. This is one of the beautiful things about being live.
I love it. I love it.
Kind of like just roll with it and see how it goes. And see if he functions.
So tell us a little bit about him. I'm hoping he's joining back on.
No, absolutely. So one of the things that is awesome about one of the local groups that we have is called the Men's Breakfast, and we talk about a lot about men issues and the challenges of being a man, both from the individual aspect, but also to the impact in the community. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting to see how different men from different walks of life, different perspectives, have a lot of similar challenges, and also how they have similar approaches as to how to deal with those challenges. One of the things that impresses me about Paul, though, is that he takes a lot of this, in what us in the mental health field talked about ACEs, and talk about those challenges of understanding the things that employees and things are going to, and then he takes an approach to be able to bring those conversations into the workforce, right? Because he has the understanding that, how about now? Can you hear us now?
I'm back.
Yay!
Omar was just giving me a little bit of a background of how you guys know each other. So I'm super glad you came back on, because I was excited to learn more about you, actually.
No, yeah, absolutely. So Paul, tell us a little bit about you. I mean, I know that you and I have spoken about how you started as a tech and you worked or you were up. Tell us about what did it take for you to become dedicated in building and walking that trajectory?
Well, honestly, I started, as a technician because I liked helping people. I enjoyed the aspect of helping people and, using my hands and using some knowledge, I was able to help people I knew and friends that I had in situations that maybe they weren't able to get through at those times. And that was probably one of the things that I really look back at the most that I enjoyed. And I did a lot of those things, outside of work, helping people. And as I continued to grow through a lot of different positions in the dealership world, I realized how much more I was able to help people through other people. And I never looked at it like that before. I originally went to college to become a technician. I got a degree in automotive management, which I never thought I would utilize. I thought I was just going to work on cars the rest of my life. And, as I continued to grow and get into management, and a lot of times, I have these conversations with my kids and employees that, just because I do the things I do. Nobody necessarily gave me a title to do it. I just did those things. And I talk about that all the time. Nobody has to tell you to do the right thing, the nice thing, to help somebody. And those things, I guess, just kind of came naturally to me, to help people and want to do more. And it helped me grow through all of the roles that I have now, and really opened up my eyes to things that I just didn't see possible in the beginning, that I could do so much more through other people than I have with just these two hands. So
Yeah.
I would say that's a lot of what drove me to be where I'm at today. It's the people. We're not in the car business, we're in the people business, is definitely what I would say. So
Yeah, that's good. The people business.
And tell us, because I know, in your conversations, there was a lot of obstacles that you had to overcome in order to stay in this career, from the personal things that you had to overcome. But you always are someone that I've seen take a lot of time on self-development, on getting better. You're busy. You're a partner at one of the largest dealership in the Treasure Coast, but yet every once a month you take the time to meet and mingle with the guys at a men's breakfast. Why is personal development such an important part of your life?
well, I got to tell you, when I moved to the Treasure Coast 5.5 years ago, I wasn't involved in so many things in the community like I am here. And the community has really inspired me here to do more. You watch so many amazing people in our community that are involved in so many things, and they're so busy. I can't sit here and say I don't have time when I watch people that I don't know how they do it. They are at all these events, they handle all these different things, they talk to all these people. A lot of people look up to them to do things. So, for everybody that says they don't have time, it's what you make, for sure. But I would say that it's really the inspiration of the people around me that have made me want to be a part and want to help. And to be honest, when I started going to this meetings that we do monthly, initially I thought it was cool that I was even asked to go. No, I didn't think anybody even knew who I was. And then we show up at this meeting and I'm like, oh, well, maybe I can help some younger kids with something or get through something. And I didn't realize how much I got out of it. I leave this meeting every month and I look forward to going because it's my own personal therapy session. There's so many things that I learn, and, heck, I'm in the corner sometimes shedding a tear thinking about something or how I'm going to process something. Maybe people notice, maybe they don't, but that's real.
Yeah. One of the things, fine. It's live. It's live. We're doing a film.
We love the live show.
One of the things that you said that I always tell this story, because if to me it was one of the most powerful things about being present. Can you tell us a little bit of the story? Tell us, if you don't mind, sharing the story about going to dinner with your family and then putting your phone away, and they thinking, "Oh, what's wrong with you?" Because that was one of the most beautiful things that I've heard. A man who is busy, who's a professional, who has a career and have a family, and they somewhat struggle finding that balance. Can you tell us a little bit of that story? Because I thought it was such a beautiful moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my job never stops. Like a lot of people that have jobs at my level, they, you get up in the morning at 5 o'clock and you don't stop sometimes till 12 o'clock at night. And I have a hard time shutting that off. And I'll never forget sitting at dinner with my family and my daughter. I look up and my daughter's staring me down, and I'm looking at my phone, and I'm I'm not engaged at all in my family. My whole beautiful family is sitting in front of me, and she's just giving me that look, like, when do we get you? And so we talked about this in the meeting about, dedicating some time. And I decided that we needed to do our dinners and we needed to all put our phones up so we could actually engage with the people in front of us. And, it's not just with your families. Sometimes it's, it could be at work. It could be anywhere. I had a very good mentor that he, he had us do a project, and, how many people go to a meeting or sit down with an employee and they have their phone sitting on the desk. Just the fact that it's sitting there, doesn't matter that you're on it. It means that you're not completely focused on the person in front of you. And, it really, who's more important than your family, right? So, making that commitment to them, to give them some time and focus on them. And not that I do it all the time, because, even since then, there's plenty of times I'm sure I'm on my phone doing something, but, giving them a little bit, they deserve more than they get, I'm sure. But, sometimes we just don't think about those things enough. And having that hour to talk about the things we do and maybe recognize some of the things that we need to change, it was really impactful.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a question, because I was just thinking about it as you were talking. I love what you just said, but I'm going to wait for that comment for the second session because it applies more to leadership, although this is also leadership. But my question to you is, because I don't know you at all, this is my first time interacting with you, is what kind of, going through all these stages with your family and then also in your work and just moving up the ladder, what kind of sense of self did you get from like family to be this person who was motivated to do things, aside from the idea that you want to help people and give back? What other things contributed to that development and just getting to, I don't know, just getting to where you are now?
Well, I would say my initial focus has always been my family. I do what I do so that my family can live a good life, to provide for them. When my wife was pregnant with our third child, I asked her, we talked about her going back to work or what she was going to do. And I said, if I have to work 3 jobs, I want you to stay home and raise our kids. I said, that's the most important thing to me, is that we raise our kids, not somebody else. And whatever that took, I was going to put the energy and effort in to make that happen. And I think, I watch a lot of people and how they handle things, but for me, I always put family first. I do a lot of things, I work a lot of hours, but definitely take care of my family. When I have free time, I'm with my family. If we're going to go do something, I'm not going with my buddies, I'm going with my family, going with my kids, going with my wife. So, to me, that's always been one of my main focus points, is family. Very tight circle. I, would do anything for my family, and except put my phone down sometimes, it sounds like. But yeah, I mean, that's always been, when it comes to decision time, what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, it's always been one of the first things that comes to mind, is how's it going to affect me and the family. So,
right. Yeah. Did your family, though, as you were growing up, instill in you this sense of like achievement and giving back to others? I'm just kind of curious about your family dynamics when you were growing up.
So when I was a child,
yeah,
it was a little different. Now my mom did stay home with us while my dad worked. He was the provider and he did a good job at that. But they weren't engaged in anything community like we do here. I was born and raised in Miami. It wasn't quite the same as it is here. But I would say we had a very tight-knit family as far as cousins, uncles, like extended family around. Everybody got together for holidays. We did a lot of things like that together. But getting involved in the community or the things that I do, I would say, no, I didn't really get that much from my mom or dad. No.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious because sometimes people, families oftentimes will get you to do one thing or the other just by the way that you interact and whatnot. So I was just curious if they were also, community driven and doing all those types of things. So yeah, just curious.
You know, it was interesting last week when we had a meeting. We were talking about skydiving and speed and, you know,
The movie?
Go fast, Bobby, Ricky Bobby, go fast. And we were talking about all that. And what is the need? What is the importance as a leader, as a father, to have those moments of release, of, you know, exploration, just to release the tension? Either it will be through the flying of the what do you call it, the jetpacks and all that stuff. Can you talk about the importance of that release as a leader, as a person, to also enjoy those moments?
Absolutely. Before I do that, I want to go back to Jesse's question for just a second, because it made me think about something.
Okay.
Though I didn't get that from my parents, on my dad's side, my grandparents were very involved. They were both teachers. My doctor had a doctorate in music from Juilliard, and my grandmother and grandfather both taught and played music professionally. And my grandfather was both college and high school teacher in South Florida, and he also started the youth symphony down there a long time ago. And he was very involved in people, children, developing. He spent a lot of time with us as children, to do the same thing with us, took us on trips a lot. So I would say that there's probably a lot of that I did get from him. Though it kind of skipped a generation with my parents. So.
Oh, and it's not a ding on the parents, because I mean, things happen, right? It's not that they didn't want to. It's just a lot of times when we grow up in families, our sense of self and the way that we sort of interact with other people and do things in the community come from our parents, right? Yeah. My mom was a very involved parent in the community, and I really never was, up until just recently. So yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah, good question. So back to your question, Omar. So I have always been an adrenaline junkie. If it can go fast, if it flies, if I can jump out of it, I like to do all those things. And I would say it's definitely a difference maker for me, especially if you look at me and my siblings, how they deal with stress and how it's affected them in their life versus me. I'm kind of 180 from them. And I would say a lot of it has to do with exactly that. How do I deal with the stress? You know, how do I engage in things? And I've always been one to, you know, you say that sounds cool, and I want to go do it, maybe twice. Yeah. And I still do those things today. I still fly ultralights. I still drag race. I still like to, you know, maybe not as crazy as I once was. I've had a number of surgeries and broken things over my life, but it definitely helps you clear your head. You know, I'm definitely more of a work hard, play hard kind of person. You know, when it's time to go play, I want to go play hard. And when it's time to work, I'm not afraid to put my head down and go do that too. So I think it's a balance, you know, that's the balance for me is I work hard and play hard. So.
No. I love that. I love that answer. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break, right? But when we come back, I want to take all this stuff about your personal, how you balance your presence, like with your family, but also bring that into the workforce, how you relieve the stress. And I want to talk about, when we come back, we want to talk about your leadership style. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the ASQ podcast, a transformational approach to life and leadership. Too many of us chase clarity but feel scattered. What if your challenge isn't failure, but the threshold before expansion? Each month, we gather live for a transformational webinar where contraction becomes coherence. Register today and receive your Soul GPS journal. Begin your journey within. Scan the QR code or visit asqempowerment.com.
At ASQ, we need one platform to do it all. Funnels, emails, forms, and automations. That's why we run our entire ecosystem on Go High Level. It is the tool that saves us time and builds real connections with our audience. We believe in it, we use it, and we recommend it. Start your free trial through our affiliate link today.
We don't just find podcast guests, we find aligned voices. That's why ASQ uses Podmatch to connect with leaders and creators worldwide. It's how we've built relationships that shape life and culture. If you want meaningful conversations, join through our affiliate link today or scan the QR code. Find your match on Podmatch.
Leaders are burning out. Teams are disengaged. Cultures are fragmenting. ASQ Empowerment transforms leadership and culture from the inside out. Our Coherence Quest bridges ancient wisdom with modern neuroscience, helping organizations align, adapt, and thrive. Start with an organizational snapshot assessment. So, visit now at asqempowerment.com and schedule your briefing today. ASQ Empowerment. Lead your life. Shape your culture. Begin within.
Welcome back. You're listening to the ASQ podcast with Dr. Jesse and Omar Ferreira, a transformational approach to life and leadership.
All right, so we're back with Paul Bobo, general partner of Garber Buick GMC. So Paul, we talked about your personal, how you conduct your life, that your approach to life, that work hard, play hard, that balance, the emphasis on family, the emphasis on giving. Let's translate into leadership at work, right? You operate and work in one of the most competitive. I was thinking about this, more competitive. There's constantly an ebb and flow. There's nothing steady about the car business. It's always changing. There's all policies that affect locally, nationally. Tell us about your leadership approach when it comes to balancing all those daily things that happen in this industry, which is constantly changing and constantly moving.
Well, I had the fortune. A lot of people that sit in my chair, usually they come from the sales side of the business, and I was fortunate enough that I got to come, one of the few people that get to come through the service side of the business, and so I got to sit in a lot of seats that most people would never get to experience. That would be over them. So how many times you work for somebody and somebody in an office told you this is what you're going to do, but they've never done your job. They don't understand it. It always frustrates those people, and it's hard to connect with them when, that's what happens. So I love the fact that I got to do those things. So when I can go sit and have a conversation with somebody just about any position in this dealership, and I've done their job, and I understand what they need and what that takes for them to be successful. And I think it's a huge part in, me being able to come here to this dealership and have the success that we've had is having that experience and that knowledge, at those levels. It's made a big difference.
Can I ask you a question? I'm just curious about this too. I'm always just curious about these questions when I ask them, but what when you talk about it from that position, because I've worked for people who are like that, who have never done the job that I was doing. And it was sort of like this lack of respect, in that mutual respect, actually, right? How do you manage those individuals who have not, like, what is your approach to those individuals who've not experienced sales or whatever it is that you're with that individual that you're working with? And how do you sort of coach or mentor those types of people? Does that make sense, the question?
No, absolutely. Yes, I do understand exactly. So I would say that I have these conversations regular with my team, and to make sure that they are more open-minded, I try to paint the picture for them more and let them, when they're in those situations that I'm not able to be involved with them, that they take a little more time to try to understand before they make a decision, or before they point a finger at somebody, or before they decide how something's going to go, because you haven't had those shoes on. So you don't exactly understand it. Ask more people, get others involved. Don't just, a lot of people in this business, especially, like to rush in, make a decision, get out. And, that's some of the things I think that are going to hurt the team the most. And honestly, it's all about the people. That I'm not the best at anything. But what I do take a true focus on is the people, and trying to make a true connection. And it's one out of genuine care. People know when you're not genuine, and you can fake that a little bit, but they're going to pick up on it. And to me, truly coming in, caring about the people, the fact that we have an owner that truly cares the way he does, Mr. Garber, whether it's the people in his community that he helps, which he does. I mean, it's like walking around with the president back in Saginaw, Michigan, where we're based. The guy he truly cares. It's not about the money for him. he has more money than he'll ever spend. It's not about the money. It's about doing the right things, being there for people, growing people, giving people like me an opportunity that, again, I would never normally, as a technician, would never look and say, oh, I'm gonna be a part owner in a dealership one day. That's never something that even crossed my mind.
Yeah.
But having good people that help lead me here, and my mentor, real kind of cool thing to me is, I hired my mentor's son-in-law to come work for me, and he moved down here, and of course his daughter came with him, so she works here too, and his son ended up coming down to work for me, and he retired, and he just moved down here last year. So my mentor actually followed me down here, which is pretty cool. Actually spent last night at his house, spent a little time with him. But a guy that I look up to that could have done anything he wanted to, and he's living down here in Fort Pierce with us. So
Yeah.
to me, that's a huge win. That's how else could somebody compliment you better than that? So
Yeah. Well, it says a lot that you have so many people who admire and respect your leadership, that they want to be a part of what you're doing.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be said for that.
Let's talk about the bottom line, right? Because we are, that's one of the things in business and all services, nonprofit, profit, is all about that. The question about the bottom line, what is the bottom line? But something that you're mentioning is something that was that idea of stakeholders, right? Your employees as stakeholders, your mentors as stakeholders, the community as a stakeholder. In a world in which we're seeing kind of like a walking away from that mentality of what you're talking about, why is it so important that we maintain what you're talking about? Looking at our employees as stakeholders, looking at our community as stakeholders, in addition to the business that we do, because we are in the business of making money and making profit, but all those other things are important. Can you expand on that? Because I feel that there's a movement away from that, and consequently our communities suffer because of it. But you're doing something different, something more specific. Can you talk about that?
Well, I'll tell you, it makes me think back to when I thought about getting into what I'm doing now. I sat in my mentor's office. I got asked to be a service manager many times, and I turned it down many times because I enjoyed being a technician. I enjoyed having the ability to get a job anywhere in the country, a drop of a hat, a lot of job security. And I watched a lot of people above me that didn't have that security. And so I eventually took the job, and I'm sitting in his office, and he says, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, when I was a technician, I wanted to be the best. And to me, that was, I become the shop foreman. Well, only a few years into my career, I became the shop foreman and had those responsibilities. And I said, well, if I'm going to be a manager, then I want to be the best at that too. And that would be your job. I want to do what you do. And, as I thought about that, one of the things that I think always held me back, that, I don't know if I'd be able to do that, because every general manager I knew before my mentor, they came out and they yelled at people and they screamed at people and they threw things and they were just rude. And the only time you ever saw them was when something was wrong. And I said, well, that's not me. I don't know that I could ever do that. So, and because I don't do that, I don't know if I could ever be successful at this job. And I think it's one of the things that I hang my hat on, is that I got here and I'm doing this job and I don't treat people that way. I don't yell at people and I don't cuss at people, and I don't let anybody here yell at people and cuss at people. We truly treat people with respect and dignity. Whether you're a customer, whether you're an employee, doesn't matter. That's how we treat people. And we've made that's the standard here. And I think that making that important from the top down, that this is the way we're going to do business. And anytime somebody gets outside of that a little bit, we sit down and we have a conversation about it. And I think that's what it's about. It's having those conversations. And back to the truly caring, you can fake that a little bit, but at the end of the day, people are going to figure you out.
Yeah.
And it's just caring. It's caring about the people you work with and caring about the people they're going to be taking care of. That's come back full circle for me. So,
yeah. Can you talk about the card and the values and why having that in the forefront for every single employee is so pivotal and important?
So yeah, our mission statement, our vision statement, and our values in our company are extremely important to us. I have cards on my desk. I got one in my wallet as we speak. They're on the walls. They're in our conference room. But those are things that our company doesn't only say or print somewhere to look good. It's what we live by, and it's back to the leader. It's back to Mr. Garber and the way he's been doing. I mean, we've been in business since 1907, and we've grown this company into one of the largest privately owned dealership groups in the country. And it has to do with that. I mean, we get together every quarter with all the owners, and, we got 30 so people in this room, which used to be 5 or 6, and now it's 30 something.
Oh, wow.
And they're all amazing people, and they all care about their groups, and they all do amazing things with their teams. And to me, that's not normal for the car business. You know what I mean? I haven't worked a lot of places. I've been in the business for 30 years. I've worked for 2 different dealerships. Well, 3. In high school, I worked for one down in Miami for a year. But I hear stories over and over again, and you see people come in. They come in here and they're expecting an experience that people are going to treat them wrong, or going to lie to them, or going to do the things that a lot of places do, and that's not how we do business. And it's the reason we have success. It's as simple as taking care of the people and doing the right things, and having respect and empathy and pride in our work, all those things that are our core values. Not only do they make us successful, but they've also, there's a very fine line there. I've had people in the last month that have decided to cross those values, and we don't have any tolerance for that either, and they don't work here. We truly hold those to the core. So
can I ask you what you would say to somebody who is trying to really understand tangibly how they can incorporate this values and belief system into their leadership style in their organization? Because I think that some people are like, oh yeah, way easier said than done, and so on and so forth. How does somebody grow a culture like this that sort of I don't know. It's a hard question, but it's because it's a really simple answer, I'm sure, from you. But I think a lot of people think, yeah, way easier said than done. I mean, you don't understand what it's like really to do this or that or whatever. How do you do that? How do you talk to somebody like that?
Well, it just comes down to each decision you make. When you come at a crossroad and you're not sure what to do, I look at the situation, I look at our values, and the answer is right there. And it really is. It's that easy. And I think a lot of times we make it more complicated. Now, a lot of places will make that decision complicated because it comes to money. Okay, we're going to do the right thing, but that's going to cost money. And that's where I see a lot. I see a lot of people where, they have the value, or they talk about the value, and then, it's going to cost them X amount of dollars to fix the problem. Well, the question wasn't money. The question was values.
Right.
And so it's as simple as that. I think if you took just the money aspect out of it and you did the right things as you go, and every time you had a problem with an employee or a customer or a vendor or whoever, and you said, what's the right thing to do? Just do that.
Right. Okay.
Now does this go directly into longevity when it comes to business? I mean, you mentioned the business has been alive since the early 1900s till now. I mean, we're talking over 100 years plus. Is this the formula, that idea of making decisions based on the values, based on the vision and mission? Is this the secret to longevity?
100%. Our success as a company is 100% based on that. And thank goodness, over generations, it has continued to trend that same exact way. Mr. Garber tells the story when he went in as a young kid to work for his grandfather, and his grandfather told him that this is really simple. You just make sure nobody leaves that door, which was the back door, or that door, which is the front door, so employees or customers don't leave here unhappy. And he's done a really good job of making that happen and putting great people in place to continue that for him. And it all sounds simple, but we all know that a lot of those decisions aren't as simple as they sound. But
Yeah. Well, I think that if you're able to, for some people, money is the most important factor. It's not necessarily the human. And so they do make decisions based on monetary, what's going to happen if we do this or that, right? But I don't think people realize that if you hire the right people and you have the right people in place, it costs less money long term, right?
Mhm.
Because you're not having to go through the whole cycle of HR and hiring and advertising and doing all these things. So if you instill these things into them, which is what it sounds like you do, is you instill this into these people from the gate, like once they're onboarded, period. And this is what they do. This is the model. This is what you live by.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, and the great thing is that at this point, it took a while to get that foundation of people. But
Mhm.
once you have that foundation, I mean, if you get somebody in here and their values aren't in line or the way they want to do things in life aren't in line, it sticks out really quickly that
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is not the right person for this organization. And it's kind of that pack mentality, it's either going to get corrected really quickly or they're going to go away. So
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
One of the things that we talked about, and I'm glad that you brought this up, right? We talked about leadership and the woman manager, right? It's you read that book, you follow that idea. When you get someone new, what is the process that you take them through to get those values ingrained and understood? Because that's the foundation of building that culture and maintaining that culture. Like, so what are some of the tactics that you use to make sure that people are aligned with those values?
Well, the first thing I do is every interview is something that I talk about heavily. Understanding how we do business, what we do, how serious we are about that, is it's one of the first things that I talk about. If you think you're going to come in here and do X, this isn't the place for you.
Yeah.
And doing it long enough that I know what a lot of people like to do to either push something or make a number. And don't get me wrong, we're in business to make money. I want to make money, but I want to do it the right way. I want to sustain it. I want to continue to have continued growth, and that doesn't happen doing it the wrong ways. So we talk about that. I mean, from interview, not even day one, is from interview. They know that coming in here, that if you don't take these things serious, that you won't last here or you'll get fired. I mean, it's that simple.
Right.
I think a lot of people sacrifice their values when it comes to money, and that's not what we do here. I've unfortunately even had to let people go that overall we're great people, just make some bad decisions, but I can't let you do things that are going to hurt people when that's what we're here to do, is take care of them. So
Yep.
I guess keeping it that serious, both sides. One, that we don't do it, and when it does happen, we do something about it.
Yeah.
I guess that's my best answer to that.
No. I mean, it is, because it's maintaining the culture. The culture is the what, like you said, the secret sauce to longevity and to making all those things happen. So what else can you tell us about bringing all these ideals and maintaining that culture, which we're seeing right now in a lot of businesses disintegrating and them struggling? What advice will you tell them, from the point of hiring to the point of training to the point of maintaining that culture? Because we're seeing this epidemic of cultures like this evaporating in the workplace and evaporating in a lot of places. What will you say to them about the importance, the essence of living by values, making decisions by your values and your mission and your vision?
Well, it makes me think about when I was younger in this business, and I started, like I said, back down in Miami, and I saw a lot of things that people did, and I got involved in myself, and some of it in my early years, that I wouldn't be proud of today. And I don't like the way it made me feel. And I think that, I sleep really good at night. And when I came to Garber, there were some things that I decided I wanted to change in my life. And I continued that trend, because at the end of the day, I want to sleep good at night. I want to do the right things to help people. I want to help people grow. And if you can maintain that mindset that, you just want to live a wholesome life, and you want to do the right things, and you want people around you that, I go out after work, I don't take my shirt off, because I'm proud of where I work. We do the right things. We take care of people. I know people that wouldn't even think about going to get a drink somewhere or get dinner without taking their shirt off first, because they aren't proud of where they're at. I mean, being proud of what you do and the decisions you make and being able to stand behind those, allow me to be able to do that. And I think just maintaining that focus, that in the end, the success always comes doing the right things.
Yeah. I think that's a really, for some people, that's a really hard shift or thing to acknowledge. You know what I mean? And I think you hit it on the head when you said it's how it makes you feel. So your leadership is really just a human-centered leadership style. You're just very focused on outward facing, being involved with people, interacting with people. And I think that they call that MBWA, managed by walking around, right? It's like a huge term for leaders. But I have a lot of respect for that because I've gone to your dealership and I've always had good experiences with the people that I have interacted with. And it's always made me feel good, regardless of how much money I've spent. It's always made me feel good.
Well, I neglect the truck once in a while, but you guys always bring it back to life.
Yeah. No, I have a lot of respect for that human-centered approach, though. Me and Omar both, I think I can speak for him, have that passion for people and building people up. And it sounds like that's what that's your philosophy, period. And for sustainability, I think it really works.
Yeah. So now that we begin to come to the conclusion of our conversation, right? A couple of weeks ago, you were just Garber and yourself were just awarded one of the Community Pillars Awards for your contribution to the community. Tell us, and I know you're not a person that likes to be like in cameras or being recognized. I had to bamboozle you last year just to give you a little award. So tell us about the feeling and the importance of doing both, having a business, giving back to the community, and taking care of your employee. In the final words, why that triad is so key and so pivotal, and what encouragement would you give to small businesses and businesses to follow that template?
That's 3 questions.
Well, I mean, that's what it's all about. Again, that a lot of that definitely comes from the top. Mr. Garber 100% believes in being a part of the community, not just having a business here, not just making money, but truly being a part. And being a part is giving back. And it's not just monetary either. I mean, there's a lot of things we do as a group that are, again, we have great people that work here. So they love to go do these things, whether we're at Boys and Girls Club and we're, cleaning and painting, or whether we're building a house with Habitat for Humanities. There's a lot of things that it builds more team just doing those things, and it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to not feel good about where they work, the people they work with, doing great things to help people that can't do it for themselves or that need some help to get it done? I definitely get a lot of satisfaction myself out of that. I've been very fortunate and I've done very well for my family, and being able to help people that aren't as fortunate, that's better than making money. So, if you can get to the point that you can do that, and you can not only, you have a great life, great, but to be able to help and give back, it's a feeling that if you haven't done it, it's hard to explain it, but it's definitely, it's a high, just like jumping out of an airplane or getting in a race car or any of those things. It has its high that to me can even be better than some of those things. So I guess I really enjoy doing that, and it's definitely pushed. And once you start to feel it, it's a drug. You want more of that. And, the more that I can't do everything for everybody. I have a stack of them back here. I only get to pick some of them, but, being a part and giving back is definitely part of our culture, in our company. And it's definitely, at this level here locally, it's a culture inside of our dealership. People come to me and ask me, when are we doing that thing again? When are we going to go here? When are we going to do that?
Yeah. And
they look forward to it. So, it's awesome that it's been pushed down, the levels, and it works. So
yeah.
I don't know if I answered all those questions.
No, I mean, you did excellent. You did excellent.
Hard to keep track of all 3.
Yeah, you did excellent. Well, Paul, man, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. I mean, I know that you're busy, and I really, really appreciate it. But just again, spending so much time with you over the last year or so, listening to you, the way that you get involved in honest conversations, genuinely and openly, that was one of the things that I said, man, I want to know more about what he does in here. So I really, really want to thank you for taking that time. It really means a lot to me, and I'm sure that it means a lot to the audiences that are listening to this. So any final words before we let you go?
No, you know what? I appreciate what you guys do. I'm inspired by a lot of the things you're involved with, and it helps people like me want to go do more and be a part. So thanks for having me on the show, and hopefully, I gave you some good information.
You did. I wanted to drive home. It almost sounds like beating a dead horse, but I wanted to drive home that people-centered leadership approach. I think that's so important. It's what me and Omar, that's how we lead. It's how we interact with people. And I'm a firm believer in it. And I wanted to drive that home because I think a lot of people who are at the top don't really know that, this is important.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And again, to get in touch with Paul, tell us where do we go to get in touch with you and do some business with you guys.
Well, if you go to www.garberbuickgmc.com, you can get a hold of us on there. All of our emails and phone numbers are there. And we're right here off US 1 by Midway Road. We'd love to see anybody and help anybody we can. So even if it's just a question, I encourage those. What I'd rather see is, even if you were going to buy a car somewhere else, but you had a question, I'd rather you ask me before you do it than after and try to get me to fix it then. So I get those all the time too. So
awesome. Well, Paul, thank you very much for your time. We'll catch up again. And everybody, we'll be right back after this.
You're listening to the ASQ podcast, a transformational approach to life and leadership. Coming this December, A Soul's Quest, a transformational approach to life and leadership. A book that bridges science, wisdom, and lived experience so you can lead with coherence. Don't miss the launch. Join the waiting list today, scan the QR code, or visit asqempowerment.com.
At ASQ, we believe every creative deserves a safe space to share. That's why we use and proudly recommend Gnostic TV. It's where your content won't be silenced and your vision can flourish. Sign up through our affiliate link and be part of this Freedom Center platform. Create boldly on Gnostic TV. Across boardrooms, nonprofits, and communities, too many leaders are quietly burning out. They know what's not working, but not how to turn inertia into momentum. That's where I come in. I help leaders, fathers, and organizations move from quiet crisis into coherence, so cultures can thrive from the inside out. Book me today at asqempowerment.com and bring coherence to your next event.
Welcome back. You're listening to the ASQ podcast with Dr. Jesse and Omar Ferreira, a transformational approach to life and leadership.
That was really good. I mean, it's cool to see that. And this is interesting, right? We're going to be putting a piece out in the next couple of weeks, and it's called when the business of becomes the business, right?
Oh yeah.
And the idea behind that is the fact that we forget our values, our missions, our mission, and maintaining the status. It's what becomes important.
Right.
And one of the things that I like about what he said is, number one, look at the longevity of Garber, over 100+ years,
a long time,
following the same values, the same missions, and that's those ideas of having stakeholders, seeing your employees as stakeholders, seeing the community as stakeholders, seeing all your customers as stakeholders.
Right.
It's something that is beautiful to see in here locally.
Yeah. What I really loved about my conversation, or our conversation with Paul, is learning that being able to look at people as stakeholders and genuinely seeing something in them and knowing that they have something to contribute and drawing that out of those individuals. And helping shape that with individuals is important to him. Like I said, that human-centered leadership approach, he's a very people-centered person, whether they're strangers or they're family members or people that work for him in the dealership. I really like that. And like I said, thought we were beating a dead horse, but it's so important for organizations to understand how important, like you said, the business of being the business, or whatever that
the business of becomes a business.
Yeah. It's in understanding that. And I don't think it's ever really too late to modify your cultures and to address those things if you're looking for sustainability or longevity.
Yeah. And and that idea that it's from the top down.
Yeah.
I mean, it really boils
Talk
down
about
to the
that.
top down.
Yeah, I talk about that in my
really
book.
does. It's
Trickle
about
down.
it's about the leader and the visionary
Mhm.
making sure that this vision is maintained. You know,
Yes.
and I love the fact that that it is okay to hold people accountable.
Absolutely.
You know, and look from the beginning of the intake,
Mhm.
right, from the interview
Interview.
all the way throughout,
Yes.
to make sure that individuals align with the values.
Right.
You know, because you have to maintain that idea. You know, so I thought it was really great. I love that idea of maintaining the values as your North Star to be able to do that.
Yep.
Anything
North
else?
Star. I love
Yeah, the
that.
North Star.
No, I think this is it. I think we
Yeah.
did a lot today. This is awesome.
Excellent. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us again. If you want to learn more about what we do, visit us at asqempowerment.com. That's asqempowerment.com. And remember to
Lead your life.
shape your culture and begin within. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the ASQ podcast. Remember to lead your life, shape your culture, begin within. Visit us at asqempowerment.com and join the movement.